Welcome to this video on adding and subtracting functions. Let's read the first problem. It says let f of x equals x squared plus 3x and g of x equals x minus 2. And the first problem is to find f plus g of x. Now a hint is that f plus g of x is equal to, and it's defined as being the f of x plus g of x. Okay, so with that much of a hint, see if you can go ahead and find out on your own what f of x plus g of x is. Go ahead and put it on pause and come back and we'll check answers. Okay, welcome back. You should have gotten the following answer. You should have gotten x squared plus 4x subtract 2. If you got x squared plus 4x subtract 2, great. Move on ahead to the next problem. If not, let's go through this in detail. So we said that f plus g of x is defined to mean that it is f of x plus g of x. And so what is f of x? Well, f of x is written right up here. F of x is equal to x squared plus 3x. So I'm just replacing f of x with this. Maybe I'll put parentheses around it. And g of x, what's g of x equal to? It's equal to x subtract 2. And maybe I'll put parentheses around that also. X subtract 2. And then all we really have to do here now is just combine terms. Let me just write it without the parentheses. X squared plus 3x plus x subtract 2. And you can see here's our two terms that we can combine. The 3x and the 1x here. So 3x plus 1x is 4x, and we just bring down our other terms. So we have x squared plus 4x minus 2. Okay, next problem says to find f plus g of 2. F plus g of 2. And what you can do is just plug in place of x here. In the preceding problem, we figured out what f plus g of x was. And it turned out to be equal to x squared plus 4x minus 2. F plus g of 2, just go through and replace all the x's with 2, and you should come up with the correct answer. Go ahead and put it on pause and see what you come up with. Okay, welcome back. If you plugged in 2 in place of x, you should have come up with 10. 10 is your answer. Let me change colors. So if you came up with 10, fine. Move on to the third and final problem. If you didn't, we'll go ahead and work this out. And so we have f plus g of 2 is what we're trying to find out what that is equal to. And f plus g of 2, well, that's just going to be what f plus g of x was, with 2 replacing every x. So let's just rewrite again what f plus g of x is, even though we have it right up above here. F plus g of x was equal to x squared plus 4x minus 2. That's what we found out in the first problem. And now f plus g of 2, all we're going to do is replace x every time we see it with 2. So let's do that. So we'll have 2 being squared plus 4 times what? Well, 4 times 2, and then subtract 2. And what is 2 squared? Well, that's 2 times 2, that's 4. What is 4 times 2? That's 8. And then subtract 2. And let's see, so 4 plus 8 is 12, subtract 2 is 10. So the answer to that second problem was 10. The third and final problem is a subtraction, and we are going to subtract, we're supposed to find what g subtract f of negative 3 is. So let's see if you could do that on your own. I'm going to go back up and, well, before you start that on your own, I better write down here where you can see what f of g is and what f of x was, because we've scrolled down where you can't see it. So f of x, what was that? Let's go back up and see. F of x was x squared plus 3x. And what was x squared plus 3x? And what was g of x equal to? I've forgotten. It was x minus 2. So g of x is x minus 2. Okay, armed with that information, see if you can figure out what g minus f of negative 3 is. Put it on pause and we'll check answers. Okay, welcome back. I come up with a negative 5 for my answer of g minus f of negative 3. If you got that answer, very good. Go ahead and jump ahead. Otherwise, let's go through g minus f of negative 3. We could do this in two ways. The one way we could do it is find out what g minus f of x is first, and then replace the x with negative 3. That's what we did in that first problem, the first and second problem. But there's another way to do it. And so we know that g minus f of negative 3, what that means is g of negative 3 minus f of negative 3, just by the definition. Okay, and so what's g of negative 3? Well, here's the g function. G of negative 3 means just replace this x with a negative 3, so we'll have negative 3 subtract 2, and then subtract the f function. We're going to replace the x with negative 3 in that function, so we'll have a negative 3 squared plus 3 times negative 3, and what do we get? We get a negative 5 here. Subtract, and if we square negative 3, that gives us 9. Plus 3 times negative 3, what's that? That's negative 9. So we'll have 9 subtract negative 9 is 0. We'll have negative 5 subtract 0, and that gives us our answer, negative 5, for the third problem. Okay, so I hope these problems help in adding and subtracting functions. See ya.